take a look at a captivating song. I mean, it runs through your head. And this is, of course, R.E.M, Man on the Moon. And it was, from their 1992 album, I believe, Automatic for the People. 92 it was, pretty sure. And interesting little story behind the song. They had pretty much finished the album, or finished most of the album, and had music to this finished, and Michael Stipe had a little bad case of writer's block. So walked around Seattle listening to the tune and kind of pieced together, all of a sudden the Andy Kaufman story came together. And this just paints great pictures, especially of Andy, talented but troubled individual, of course, but who came up with some great things and some pretty weird things. Anyhow, at least it gave us this really cool song by R.E.M. Now, it's really easy. It uses only chords in the key of G, has a short little solo just jamming over a couple of chords. So all we're really going to talk about in this lesson is the chord progression and the strumming, but the strumming is very simple. So the chords in the key of G would of course be G, A minor, B minor, C, D, and E minor. And of course F sharp minor 7 flat 5 or F sharp diminished, which doesn't get used. So it's a cool song from that regard in that it uses all 6 chords, all 6 major and minor chords in the key. We'll talk about a couple different ways of playing them in the next segment. So we'll take a little closer look at the chords and some of the options that you have in there. And that's about it. So coming up, a fairly short lesson probably on Man on the Moon. Key of G, and in this song you can really play the G whichever way you like. I prefer, well, if we play the 3-finger G, which has the open B string in there, best to use your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers, as I talk about in countless other lessons. But this is also a good time to use the G that has the 5th, an extra 5th in there, the D, where we play it with your 3rd and 4th fingers on the top 2 strings, and then this. So this has a little bit more, little rockier kind of sound, a little less harmonious, let's say, but then hearing that extra 3rd in there. So whichever of those G's you like is going to be good. A minor is of course played with your 1st finger on C and your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 4th and 3rd strings at the 2nd fret. And then that shape is used to play B minor, and this is the one tricky part in this song, is we have to get to a B minor chord. So if you're still working on bar chords, you're going to have to get them in pretty good shape, because the B minor also happens fairly quickly, but it's of course played with a bar at the 2nd fret and then in the A minor shape. Classic example of just the simple folk strum, where what we hear in this is a down on beat 1 and then a down up on beat 2. 1, 2, and missing beat 3. So now what happens after that, if we hear an up, we want that to be fairly soft, and then a down and an up on beat 4. So this is the classic strum used from Brown-Eyed Girl, Margaritaville, and pretty much any campfire song can be strummed like this. So nothing too fancy going on here. Down, down, up, down, up. The progression is really straightforward, and with one difficult thing happening, and that's the change to B minor. We'll get to that in just a minute. But we've got 3 basic parts, 3 vocal parts, and then a short little solo. So it's that's what I mean, pretty straightforward. The verse opens up with C to D, a measure each, and then back to 2 Cs. Those 4 measures would constitute a line. Now each verse the first verse has 6 lines in it, and the 2nd and 3rd verses each have 4. A bit unusual, but that's just the way it worked out. And each verse, if this were the last line of the verse, we head into what I would consider the pre-chorus, because we hear the same lyrics every time in that Andy, did you hear about this one? And pretty soon we have some half measure changes coming up where we're just going to do down, down, up on each one. So the pre-chorus we have is A minor to G,